The Western world is in ruin and ready to collapse. The so-called resistance leaders, they rage bait the slaves, pushing their own demise. Stay angry indeed. Black pills of despair rain from the sky. No one can stop the fall. No one can stop Black Chad, demon of despair.
Stop putting your emotion into it.
Wait,
we need to look for alternatives.
what's this?
Look for solutions. We can't just, give in to despair and this programmed demoralization of the West. Come on, guys.
What? You're not full of rage or despair? Fine. I will imprison you in an astral dungeon and keep you away from the others. No one will hear about your alternatives or your solutions or your silly indie brands. No one cares. The despair programming must continue.
What?
Welcome to Forever, nerd.
You haven't won, Black Chad.
Oh, yeah?
I'll talk to and review every indie creator I can, and we'll fight against your despair.
Even the bad ones?
Yes, even the bad ones.
Oh.
You don't get it. I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me!
Oh.
Now on with the show.
Yeah, hail nerds. What's up, dude? How are you guys doing?
How's it going, man? Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Hey,
Yeah,
thanks
same.
for coming. That's great.
Yeah.
And I guess happy Saturday. I know we're not recording on a Saturday, but that's when this will premiere. So everybody relax and enjoy your Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
All right. So first of all, thanks for coming. Neff, I think this is your first time on the show. Is that right?
I do believe so, yeah.
I think so. Finally, I got you. Add you to my trophy shelf. How about that?
Excellent.
So all right. I kind of have this new format for the show. Before we watch pop culture stuff or talk about pop culture stuff, anyways. And and I don't really watch any of that. Like, I'm not watching Ahsoka. I'm not watching, One Piece. I'm really not into any of that stuff. So instead of complaining about all that thing, those things and the stitching and bitching, instead I've decided to let's hang out and have some fun. Let's talk about some of the topics that you guys have created products around. So I've got some trivia for us. I've got Pulp trivia, like Pulp characters, guns, some gun trivia, and some Stompy robot trivia. So I thought that would fit you guys
Good
pretty
deal.
well.
Good deal.
Surprised you don't have Greg for that one.
Yeah, right. Well,
Yeah.
he's gonna definitely have to come back on for that.
Yeah.
Especially once he gets that his Stompy Robot RPG going. That'll be pretty fucking cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, what do you guys think? Sound fun? Would you like to
Sounds
play?
good.
Would
Yeah,
you like to
yeah,
play
let's
a
go for it.
game?
I'm drinking beer. Always a good time for trivia.
Yeah. See some beer nuts or what is it? Pretzels? What are they eating in wherever you're from?
The
No,
Netherlands,
yeah.
cheese, a lot of cheese.
So like you're sitting at the bar and they just got like cheese sitting in a bowl.
Oh no, we've got like
How's that?
little bowls of peanuts and like the little like pretzel thingies, like
Yeah.
what every bar has.
Okay.
I don't
Well,
really, I don't usually touch those because it's like everyone's had their fingers in those. So
Oh,
Yeah, you didn't wash your hands, did you?
Yeah. Just let me get the ones in the back.
Oh God, I like the ones from the bottom. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
COVID much? Anyways, yeah, I don't know. Well, I had to make sure because like we don't wear wooden shoes, but like you guys do.
Well,
So
I
don't know.
well, I don't either, but
Oh, okay.
no, we're modern. We wear like polymer shoes.
Crocs.
Yeah, Crocs.
Crocs.
Yeah,
Everybody
Crocs are
wears
modern
plastic.
clogs. The tactical clogs.
Tactical.
Tactical claws.
Are you in the military? Whew. Yeah, you're tactical right. All right, so I have got 3 categories with 3 questions each, and I think that who should I have? Who would like to choose first?
I'm the guest.
Yeah.
That means me.
Victor,
I get to
just you.
pick.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, not Chris. He's my co-host. But since Victor and Neff are here, Neff, I'll tell you what. You spoke up first. Would you like gun, pulp, or stompy robots?
I want gun.
Nice.
Guns. All right. For guns, question 1. All right. A 50 cal sniper rifle range is up to this distance.
Oh, jeez.
Haha, yeah.
To the Google.
3,000 yards?
I'm sorry. Let me lay down some of the rules. So basically, it's just like Jeopardy. All you got to do is answer. If you answer first, you have a better chance of getting the point. So
we can both answer, or?
yes, you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
just
yeah.
jump
Oh,
in
okay.
and
Yeah, I
say-
just thought you meant him.
Oh, jeez, even further than that. Yeah. Damn.
I was gonna say up to probably like 2,500 yards.
I'm gonna need a definite answer here
Because
because I've heard 3,000 and 2,500. So
the furthest shot that was ever made was, I believe, about 2,500. So I'm gonna stick with 2,500.
oh,
So
okay.
technically, you asked how far can it shoot,
Yes.
right?
Well, it can
Not
shoot
how
for
far.
like
Okay.
20 miles.
So
Technically,
yeah, 5 miles according to Google. That's crazy. That's
oh,
crazy.
damn.
I had
Look
no
at you,
idea
your
that
Google
like you
fingers.
could, you could like parabolic arc this thing against
So
the
one of the
curvature of the
questions-
Earth.
One of the questions I saw was, what happens if you shoot a 50 cal? Can it go to space? Like if you just shoot it up, will it go to space? And I was like, holy shit, that's a serious question. Do you suppose it can? I mean, I assume maybe. Like, what's low Earth orbit? Isn't it like, I don't know, it's more than 5 miles. So anyways,
I'm sure people were trying to shoot down that Chinese spy balloon with 50 BMG. Yeah, Barrett 50.
look at that hot mess. Oh,
Technically, the spy balloon's made of material, so it's the perfect weapon, being an anti-material rifle, right? Just, shit doesn't kill people, it
Anti-material.
kills cars. Yeah.
that's right. It just rips
the
apart tanks.
classification.
It's fine.
Yep.
So
Toyota pickup trucks, specifically.
yeah, they mount perfectly in the back. So, you know what? I'm going to give that a point to everybody just for playing. So that was a good one.
Yeah. I just looked it up. I was completely wrong with the longest shot. That was like in Vietnam. Like the longest shot has been updated to almost 4,000 yards, and that was like some Canadian Special Forces.
Yeah, when
See,
I Googled
it's
it,
Canadian.
it was
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, yeah, that's in Canadian miles. It's totally different. So.
Exactly, it's Canadian miles. It's like an exchange ratio, right?
Yeah, I saw something was like 1.1 miles or whatever. So fair enough.
They
It's
measure
it's the
everything in
internet.
Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
14 Tim Hortons away.
Yeah. All right. Question 2. This rifle is known as the gun that won the West.
The Cold Peacemaker.
That's the M1 Garand.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh, wait,
you
the
got a
gun that
lucky
won
guess.
the West?
Yeah,
that's
Cold
the
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker.
Yeah.
Not World War II.
I thought the gun that won the war. Yeah, that'd be the M1
Boom.
Garand.
Well,
The
this kind of won for the West.
1873.
Oh, really? It was the rifle.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
the rifle. Oh.
Yep. Now, apparently, when I was looking around, it said that afterwards, Colt attributed it to his pistol as well.
Yeah, so
yeah,
that's
single
how
action
that's
army
how
revolver.
that's how I've
sucker
always
right
heard it.
here.
That's how I've always
Oh,
heard
damn.
it used for the Peacemaker.
Yep. So here we go. Gun that won the West. So I'm gonna go with the Winchester. But you know what? Just for fun, I'll give you a point. How about that, Victor?
Yeah, because I'm technically right. Because Colt also said that. So
He did. So
Yeah.
I will take that as a answer number B. All right. Question 3. What gun did the character Blaine in Predator use?
that was the minigun, right? Blaine was the cowboy man. Jesse
Yes.
Ventura. Yeah, the minigun.
Yes.
sexual
Do you have a more
Tyrannosaurus.
technical name?
Well, I don't remember the actual model. It's like a bunch of numbers. The
Fair enough.
GAU.
Yeah.
Whoa. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll give it to you, Victor. It is the handheld GE M134 minigun.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, damn.
G. Yep. GAU is mounted on like planes and shit. That's what
Yeah.
what Arnold used.
Yeah.
Used to
Yeah,
Oh.
in T2. So a little bit of trivia on that one. Apparently, they modified that gun because it can't be handheld because it's just too heavy and everything. So they modified it for Predator. And there was apparently like a competition between Arnold and Jesse Ventura. And so that's one of the reasons they put the minigun in T2, because he was like, no, you don't get to upstage me.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah,
That's funny.
so
That's a good way
we'll
to tell
take
you
that.
I think they did the calculations once on like what the actual recoil would be, and it was basically like a constant like being pushed by like 500 pounds or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah, like how do you
point at the
Yeah.
ground and hover?
Yeah,
yeah, you
yeah,
can't do
basically.
that one. So anyways, all right, so for the gun category, I will give it to Victor. Bing bing bing. Congratulations.
Well,
Yay.
good. I didn't embarrass myself too much being, the gun guy.
I wanted to, well, and right, that's, you got the modern necessities and everything.
Yeah.
So one of the things one of the questions I wanted to do was like, which gun maker regretted his rifle or whatever. That was going to be the AK, but anyways, maybe
What about the wife of the guy who created the gun about regret? I mean, that chick made like all sorts of weird altercations to her.
oh, the
house.
Winchester house.
Oh yeah, the Winchester.
Yeah, I
house,
lived right
yeah.
near that when I was in was it San Jose?
Did you go see it or no?
No, I've never actually been in it, but I've seen it.
Yeah, like the ghost hunter documentaries or documentaries. Yeah, that place is crazy. Can you imagine just like you have so much money and so much guilt that you just continually add on to a house until you're dead? Like
I wish.
the house doesn't even make any sense. So,
Yeah, that sounds like a fun hobby if you're rich.
well, consider this. Like, imagine if, like, in the whole portals and dimension shit was true, and like ghosts and all that stuff. That probably means that house is so. It's like it'd be like a Ghostbusters vault. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
There's so many ghosts in it, walking through walls and upstairs that go nowhere and shit. Man,
I think they've made movies like that.
Yeah,
Be
so
like-
when the power goes out, the roof explodes and shit
Yeah.
comes flying.
Yeah,
Yeah, you get a really cool soundtrack going on.
yeah. There's the one guy that wants to shut it down from the environmental agency. That's why this man has no dick.
No dick.
Yeah.
All right. Category number 2. I will let Victor choose this one. Either Stompy Robots or Pulp Trivia.
I'll do Pulp. Pulp is always fun.
Ooh, brave man. All right. How do you feel about your chances on that one, Neff?
Probably bad. Pulp's not actually my strong suit.
You're crazy. You wrote Judex, and Pulp is not your strong suit. Fair enough.
Judex isn't a pulp hero.
Really? I thought he was.
Yeah, technically he's not a pulp hero. He was the original character is based off of a 1916 silent film, and then the character was revived in 1968. So although he was like active in comic book strips and stuff, it was just the Shadow renamed Judex in World War II. Aldous actually gave me a long education on why Judex
on the Shadow
isn't pulp. Yeah.
Shit, I'm scared to have him on and do a Pulp category. That dude probably knows more than the people that created it. So, all right, we'll do Pulp. Question number 1 for. I'm kind of glad because I was like, man, I don't want these to be too easy. All right, Pulp trivia number 1. Just ring in if you can. John Clayton II is Viscount of Greystoke, also known as this.
Tarzan.
Ooh, bing, bing, bing.
Yeah,
Victor
Christopher Lambert.
Man, on the quick draw.
Yeah.
I like it. Yes. Wait a second. Oh, man. My computer goes crazy. All right. There we go. Haha. I'm not sure why it's mostly the animated stuff. I mean, I assume Disney paid for it, but
yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's like let's put ours on the top. Anyways.
Yeah, you ever see that? The Legend of Greystoke or whatever? The one back in the early 80s with the Highlander guy?
I might have when I was younger.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I've watched that.
Yeah, they have like all these like stuffed dead orangutans and stuff. And I'm like, I don't think that was part of the original story.
I read like all the original books when I was a kid, and then I also found like a Tarzan comic in a flea store when I was like young. But it turned out it was like pervy Tarzan, but it was like in the children's comic section because they didn't check the interior.
Did you ever? So apparently Disney has like stock in porn, and apparently they accidentally during one of their distributors. This was like back in the 80s on a show called A Current Affair, where they had these parents bought a Cinderella VHS for their kids, and they let the media babysit their kids. So they left the house or left the room and everything, and they came back like 10 minutes later. The kids are crying. What is he doing to her? And like,
oh my god!
Yeah, the dad was interviewed. He goes, "I should have known something was up when Cinderella was spelt with an S."
Oh shit!
Well, like, looks like we're not going to have the birds and the bees discussion with these kids.
Oh man, the trauma. Yeah. Trauma is ensuing. Yeah,
that's not what you used the glass shoe for.
Yeah, 2 suitors, 1 glass shoe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a brown foot in there.
All right. Question number 2. This one's going to be very difficult, so please get your Google ready. All right. Question 2. This Dark Avenger is known for wearing a mask, a wide-brimmed hat, and left a calling card. His name is English. His name in English is Fox.
Zorro?
Yes, ding, ding, ding. Yep. Way to go, Neff. So I just thought it was funny that, whoops, 1 second.
You see, it threw me off because I was thinking of an actual calling card, like an actual card. But I wasn't thinking of like the Z slashed into the
yeah.
Zorro the Gay Blade.
Yeah.
So so I thought it was kind of funny. This Dark Avenger is known for wearing a mask, wide brim hat, and left a calling card. I mean, how many different pulp heroes can that be? But
the Shadow
I thought it was yeah. So all right, which one is your favorite version of Zorro?
Probably Banderas.
Fair enough. See, I grew up with watching the black and white Disney version, so I don't know. I don't know who that actor is, but to me, that will always be, what is it, Don Diego? Yeah. So just I don't know. He had much more of a gentlemanly kind of way about him. Anyways, enough being gay on Zorro. So all right, question number 3. Yeah. This moody, spoiled brat was known for murdering his companions with his sword of chaos.
Oh, that one's easy.
Repeat that one.
This moody, spoiled brat was known for murdering his companions with his sword of chaos.
Prince Arthas was based off of him. No, that's who. Everybody rips this guy off. Everyone from The Witcher to Blizzard.
Everybody. It's true.
Oh, Elric of Malmebone.
Hey, there it is.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
Yeah, it's so on the nose when you look at like Warcraft, and he's like, it's what is it, Frostmourne or whatever, and it's like Elric's brother's sword was called Mournblade, and they were these rune swords and stuff. And it's, come on, guys, like you're not even
just
hiding
completely
it.
Ripped it off.
Yeah,
that's funny.
In fact, Elric was called the White Wolf, which is exactly what they call what is it, The Witcher.
Yeah, Gerald.
Oh, right, yeah. So this one, I like this pick here. That's so cool. I'm not sure who did that one, but that is really amazing. This is the detail and everything. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, when you said I went on which I got it.
Yeah. Well,
they make him
I went
too
on
buff, though.
They do. He's a bit large. I don't know. I didn't read the books.
He's supposed to be stringy, so he's a spoiled piece of shit, and he's supposed to be the anti-Conan. So he's supposed to look like Raistlin Majir from Dragonlance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got the long white hair, and he's got all gold like and stuff, and he sits on a big ruby throne and stuff. And it annoys me because like I work for an indie game dev, and we were approached with an Elric game, and they asked our concept artist to make some concept art for Elric, and this is before Google Image and all this stuff. And like it all the artists wanted to throw their own stink on it, and they were like, "Hey, Chris, you're a nerd. What the hell is Elric?" So I'd like tell it to him, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll just get the book on audio or whatever." And like, only one of like the 5 concept artists actually listened to the source material. Like this one guy who's like this master artist. He brings like a I can't remember. I think it's called a Kanda, which is a hacking sword. That it's not like an actual like it looks like basically an axe essentially. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, that's Elric, and it's this big buff dude and all this stuff, and he's sitting on like a wooden throne, and it's like, At no point in this illustration did you even remotely assess or access or reference the source material.
You couldn't just put him on the Ruby throne. Like that's literally like a huge, part of his story is the Ruby throne. So
you ever watched those that remake of the Time Machine from like the early 2000s?
Yes.
And he goes underground where the Morlocks are, and that's the guy that's like running the Morlocks. He's all creepy and pale with like the long white hair. Like that's kind of what I picture Elric like.
Yeah,
wasn't that Jeremy Irons who did that?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh yeah.
So I can't remember who it was, but they did a comparison of the original compared to the modern one. And by modern, I mean the one from 2000, whatever. And they talked about how they rewrote it, how much they rewrote it and it was like some of the early woke stuff. It's pretty interesting. I'll have to find it sometime. Try to re-find it.
I like that movie though. It's fun.
Yeah, well, it's just like in comparison where like the earlier one, the hero is obvious, and then in the newer one, like they kind of break him down, and it's very different from the older one.
Subjective morality.
He's not as that kind of stuff. That whole postmodernist take on it, and it was like holy shit. I this was like at the beginning, probably 10 years ago when I first started. When people first started noticing all this shit going on.
Your eyes are opened. You can't close them.
Yeah, exactly. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. So anyways, how about category number 3? What do you think, Chris? Should we do 3? So number 3 is Stompy robots. I think it's something that we can all agree with.
Well, we got a guy who made an awesome book about it. So
especially Neff with Mavericks.
Got some high hopes here.
So, all right, question number 1. In the year 3025, Stompy robots are used to fight for control of the inner sphere in this war game.
Battletech.
I am gonna have to go with the first one who answered. So yes, Victor gets this one as well. Battletech.
I only know this. I don't play Battletech, but I only know this because I'm on the Basic Experts Gilded server, and there's like half of them are the Battletech fans, and all they do is talk about Battletech constantly every day. So
there you go. What do you think, Neff? That sounds like a new Gilded server you have to get on. So all right, Battletech it is. Question number 2.
Does anybody else want to answer?
I mean, I answered. I don't know if you guys heard me.
Yes,
at the same time. Okay.
Yeah. It was a tie on my end.
That's fine. I mean, that's fine. I just
on my end, I was a couple seconds later, but I'm fine with the tie. Let's give him a point.
It's all good. No. It's all good.
It'll say in the replay. All right. Number 2.
Buzzers.
These Stompy robots are known as Destrons or Deathtrons in Japan.
Deathtrons?
Yeah.
Do they have flags, by the way?
You were just in Japan. That's one of the reasons.
I know. That's why I'm like, Deathtrons? No idea, man.
The Decepticons, maybe?
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
You know what? I'm not giving it to you. No, Victor, you've had too many wins. Just kidding.
I'm
yes,
like,
come on, the flag should have been a good hint.
Like, am I right though? So, are they the Decepticons or just the Transformers in general?
That's a great question.
Yeah, because I was thinking Destron, Decepticon, they both start with a D.
Destrons or Deathtrons, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, when I Googled
I mean, that's what Wiki is saying. Decepticons are Destrons in Japan.
Well, you don't have to give me the point, but I mean, I did get it right.
He's like, but I did do it.
Did that say
all right?
And who knew that Megatron is the Emperor of Destruction? That's
I have no idea.
Like a Megadeth song.
First, yeah, it is. First of all, I like Tranny Megatron. Have you seen that?
Yes.
No.
You can't make me off.
Oh wait, the one on YouTube? Yeah.
Yeah, Flash Kids.
Futanari Destron, you mean?
I like the I am sexy bot, and it's like this big pink refrigerator.
I liked the console wars that they did. They did Flash Kids to Console Wars, right?
Yep.
Is that right? I don't know that one.
No!
Yeah. It was
that's hilarious. Those guys are funny as shit.
Yeah, they really are. Okay.
All right. Question number 3 on Stompy robots. Gundam robots were designed by this American industrial designer.
I don't know. Hank Gundam.
No, you're out. You can't answer this one ever again.
No,
No.
Nice. I'm fine.
Anybody? No. Okay. Sid Mead.
Oh.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
yeah. His name was sitting right there at the tab the whole time.
Oh, I didn't see. I didn't see it at all.
Good. You're not supposed to look. Gosh,
No, I didn't see.
cheater. So Sid Mead actually did a lot of the art from 80s sci-fi. Apparently, a lot of people pulled from all of his stuff with his visual futurist ideas. Like, look at all this. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's cool.
I wish I had half of that. Look at that. That talent is insane.
Did he do the art for Blade Runner?
Yeah, Blade Runner.
Well, yeah,
Pivotal Blade Runner.
Because I'm seeing like some familiar pieces there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's like peak
gorgeous.
like early cyberpunk. That's what cyberpunk should be. I don't like that newfangled cyberpunk where like everything looks like it's made by Apple. Like, no, I want this.
I mean, look at
this
that.
This is when it was optimistic futurism. You know, now we're in that dystopic destruction or deconstructive phase.
Well, I wouldn't say Blade Runner is very optimistic, but yeah.
Yeah, Blade Runner, that's the thing, is like Earth was a shithole, but like off planet was like apparently in that world, like Mars and everything was like the paradise, and like Earth was like the shithole.
Really?
Yeah, and that's why we're only seeing, like, we hear a glimpse of it. It's like the rich just basically booked it and went off planet. And like it was actually illegal to have skin jobs on Earth.
Yeah,
like, they weren't supposed to be there. No robots.
No robots. That's funny. So I don't know. So I'm assuming that you read the book then, or is this? Did you just like watch the
I watched like 30
scenes?
different freaking. So there's like what 5 or 6 cuts of Blade Runner.
Is there really?
Like,
I think I've seen 3.
And they feel like different movies. Like one of them has Harrison Ford. What's up?
I said I've only seen 2 cuts of the original.
Oh yeah. Dude. So I saw one where Harrison Ford narrates. I've seen one where he does not narrate. I've seen one where there's like God, what was it? There was like an extended scene with the basically it was to try to prove that Deckard was a robot or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then one where it's definitively he is not.
Right.
Like, what the hell? I'm confused.
Which I think was the original theatrical, is that he was not a replicant, and then later on they tried to bring that out, because that was the original idea, is that he is a replicant, but the studio didn't want him to be, or something like that.
And then they just kept it vague, and now people argue about it. So.
Yeah.
Well, and then they made the sequel, right? Where it's 20 whatever. And I can't remember.
Where he really isn't, but somehow he did get a replicant pregnant, and I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't really make a lot of sense. I wasn't very happy with that movie. So, and I know
I like it for the atmosphere.
I love it, and I'm like,
gorgeous.
I don't know. It doesn't. First of all, it didn't feel like Blade Runner to me. So I don't know.
You guys ever see that movie Soldier with Kurt Russell? That's in the same universe technically.
Yes, actually, that was supposed to be the sequel, and then they changed it. They didn't go with Blade Runner 2, which would have been fucking cool. Yeah, he's supposed to be a replicant in that, right?
Well, he's basically like basically replicants are like those younger soldiers, the super soldiers that replace him. Those are supposed to be like early versions of like the replicants. Those are like the Nexus ones basically, or something like that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I have to go back and watch it. I don't think I've seen it since the 90s.
Yeah, I gotta watch it.
Oh, it's a great movie. I've watched that like probably like once every year.
Oh, damn.
Nice. Yeah, it must be good,
Planes,
right?
Trains, and Automobiles.
Also a good movie.
Yeah,
different genre, but good movie.
Completely out of left field, but fair enough. Good for you. So, all right. I guess the overall winner, we'll go with Victor with a very close Neff coming up in the rear. It's like, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
I'm normally not competitive, but when I'm forced to, I get competitive.
Oh no! What do I win?
Yeah.
So I got a question for you. You're big into guns and everything. What's that like in the Netherlands? Like, I don't understand, gun laws and rights and all that stuff. What's that like there?
So I own guns legally.
Oh, nice.
It's a thing you can do here. It's a little bit of a process. I think they updated a few times since I did it. I've had guns for like 13 years now. So, But when I did it, basically you have to get what's called a proof of good behavior from like your local government.
Teacher? I promise.
Well, you have to basically go to your local government, like your city, what was it called, city hall type thing.
Mm-hmm.
You have to ask for proof of good behavior. Basically, they check your record, see if you don't have a criminal record or whatever. They give you like this. Yeah, basically, they give you this printout. You go to a gun club. You show them. It's like, hey, I'm a good boy. I want to join the gun club. They're like, okay, we're gonna put you on. We're gonna make you a probationary member for like, I think at the time it was like a year. So basically, for a year, you can't own any guns. You just go to the gun club. You can use the guns at the club, but you have to do it under supervision. Basically, so basically, it's them teaching you how to handle guns and like and basically, it's also a form of social control. It's like, hey, we have a year to like check you out, see if you're not like a psychopath, because you're in like this club setting with like 200 sometimes other people. I think our club is like 200 people. So, you're hanging out. We actually have a bar and everything. So,
liquor and guns. I like it.
Yeah. But then after that year, you can like get your first gun. When I first joined, that could be whatever. Like my first gun was like a 308 sniper rifle. Now they changed it where your first gun for the first year has to be a 22. So now you have to get a 22. So you go to a gun store, you buy a 22. They give you all the paperwork that you take that paperwork to the club where you have to like fill out this whole form, and then you take that and all that paperwork to the police, and the police basically prints up a license for you using all that information, and then you go back to the gun store and you have the license, and then you can pick up the gun. You can buy the ammo that's associated with that gun. So if you have a 22, you can only buy 22 ammo. So you can't buy like 9mm or whatever.
But only like one bullet?
No, you can have up to 10,000 rounds.
Wow. That's a lot.
You're also required to have a safe in your house. So the police will show up to like control, to check your safe. So you have everything stored properly. You have to keep the guns separate from the magazines and the ammo. So all the safes have to have like a little sub safe inside where you store the ammo and stuff, or you can put like a separate safe on top. Like that's what I have, like just a second safe on top of the big safe with all my ammo.
That's very involved. I like it. I mean,
you can have up to 5 guns.
I mean, most of the people I know that are like hunters and shit, they have vaults and all that shit. So I get all that, but man, that's a lot of hoops.
So you can have up to 5 guns. I shoot with my dad, so technically, when we're at the club, we just shoot with each other's guns. So technically, I have 10, but but I can store 5 of them at my own house, basically. And then once a year, usually, like sometimes they skip a few years if they like think you're you're cool. The police will actually show up at your house, and they will like check your safe, see if you have everything stored properly and legally. And and then if you want to get a new gun, you have to go through that whole rigmarole again. You have to like get all the paperwork and go to the police, and it's like a whole process. But it's pretty strict.
I thought it was very invasive when like I bought a pistol in Iowa and I live in Illinois, and they had to send it to a gun license guy in Illinois, and I had to like wait like a week or 2 or whatever it was. And I was like, that's fucked up. And meanwhile, you're like, no, and then you got to do that, and you got to jump that. And you
well, the funny thing is though, like after all that stuff though, I can own like I said, I have a 308 sniper rifle, I have an AR-15, I have like a Russian AK-47. None of them are full auto, obviously. But like I can own more stuff than some people in certain American states do. Like Californians for the longest time couldn't own like an AR-15 unless they had like that awful stupid grip on them and shit like that.
Well, you mean legally? You own them legally, because there's plenty of people who own guns.
Like the problem with gun laws is gun laws are only for the law-abiding.
They possess guns. That's the difference. They don't own them. They possess them.
Well, our criminals have full auto AK-47s from like the Eastern Bloc, obviously. So
well, I don't know if you guys are aware, but like probably by the time this airs, they'll have caught him. But like,
the bowler guy.
That guy.
Yeah, they're actually contemplating putting us in like, the whole hide in place kind of thing. There's a dude out in Maine right now.
Shelter
in place. Yeah. Some dudes like, and here's the thing is like Maine is a freaking blue state. So those morons are all disarmed. You know, target-rich environment people. Look what happened in
Which
Texas
is
when they tried to pull
weird.
that shit. There was this.
I fucking smoked him.
Yeah, remember that church?
He was so dead.
He didn't get far, did he?
Was that in the mall with like the fat kid that just kept him from like 100 yards with a pistol?
Yeah, there was that one too. There are a lot in like when you go to a mass gathering place in a state where they have carry laws. You know, people are thinking twice because they get capped.
Yep.
Like it's a much different reality when like you're shooting up a school in a gun-free zone and the cops are 20 minutes out and don't want to go in. That's when it's a tragedy. It's like,
oh my gosh,
people
like
carry
Florida?
Guns, they'll handle it themselves.
Yeah,
It's always
they don't
funny.
They don't want a target-rich environment where the targets can shoot back, and that's what made that Texas church absolutely hilarious. Because this guy goes in and he's about to start like a rampage, and then there's about 8 parishioners or people in the church. Just, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
dude. Or one of my favorites was because there's a lot of them that don't get any publicity, but you see them like on Twitter or whatever on your different social media where it's the good guy with the gun, right? And or it's the shopkeeper with the gun, you know, still a good guy with a gun. And so there's so many times where it's just somebody with a gun stops somebody else, you know, who's going to start hurting people. And I'm so glad that those videos are out there circulating, because it's like there's so much proof that, you know, an armed society is a more polite society. It's just the way it works, which is kind of funny. Go ahead.
I probably shouldn't say much because I'm Dutch, obviously. I don't live in America. So what do I know about? But what do I know about American society, right? But it's always funny when they claim that like Republican states. Oh no, actually, Republican states have worse gun crime and like, you know, killings than like blue states. And then like you zoom in on the statistics, and it's like, yeah, but it's the big cities that are are like blue.
Yeah.
Like Texas is a death trap. You mean this like 4 mile in
Austin,
Dallas?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
No, it's everybody. That's not how that works. Yeah. I will say one of the coolest videos I saw was that one. I think there was a video of this where the guy it was somebody in a mall, and somebody like maybe shot like at a person. And the dude shot him way long range and just popped him right there. You know,
that was the one that
gun-free zone.
Dick was talking about.
Yeah,
man, that was so fucking cool.
Yeah, that was the kid. He was about to start some shit, and then this chunky guy, which is like his concealed carry like pistol. I don't think it was like even like some like high end like Glock or anything. It was just like some shit, and like some like some $200 pistol,
like,
and he like just kept him.
Yeah. How many lives did he save? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what keeps people at bay, though. Is like that's what keeps the wolves at bay. Is when you know the wolf gives that second thought of whether or not that sheep's got claws. You know, like maybe I shouldn't attack that. Like if it turns around and it's just a fat guy that you wouldn't expect to do anything, it flips you from like 300 yards down. You know.
Yeah, if he's wearing like, you know, a Hawaiian shirt and like tactical gear, watch out. He may be overweight, but he is going to shoot. All right. Anyways, so speaking of shooting, let's talk a little bit about some Judex. So, wow, look at that. 12,000, 170 backers. Good for you.
We were a little bit lower from what we had anticipated, both Odin and I, on our previous campaigns. Given the numbers from our previous campaigns, it was a little bit tougher. I mean, it's a different subject matter. Most of our audiences, you know, like other than, you know, reading what we wrote, it's not like the typical fare that they would tune into, you know. And then there was the problem of not being discoverable on Indiegogo, so I think it made overall less than we were hoping.
Yikes. Look at that pistol. So what is this?
The Peacemaker. That's a Peacemaker with a
it's a
custom
Peacemaker.
Look at that.
Like a little face on
it
it.
Bigger. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me
Chook.
this.
1 second.
Yeah.
Let me find you. Where are you at?
It looks like a enchanted Peacemaker. Oh, nice.
So this
That's
is the this is what we call. I mean, the trigger isn't in there yet. It's gonna be it's gonna have a full the trigger, the hammer, the internals. They all go inside to turn. You know, when you click it, turns once. There's the firing rod thing that holds the chamber the cylinder in, all of that.
Yeah.
We sculpted this. We sculpted it's 3D printed ABS. It's an
3D,
ABS resin mixture. We're using like Tenacious Clear and ABS, and then we're painting it.
Nice.
So this one's okay. You know, like I'm gonna do a better job, I think, cleaning and painting the next one. It's not bad. It's just it could be.
Oh, that looks
done
awesome.
nicer.
So is that just for you, or is that like
no?
that people can buy?
It was on the campaign. So on the campaign we offered. Hold on, the mask is upstairs. There's a mask, the gun, the cape, and the hat. 1 second.
Dang, that's cool.
Wow. You too
that's
can be
pretty
Judex.
involved. Yeah,
That's awesome, man.
know what I'm being for Halloween?
Yeah, I'm sensing a Halloween costume right here.
Oh, it's not loading properly.
So what's the story of that peacemaker in the?
Damn, dude.
This
Wait,
is
one
the
second.
mask.
This is some-
Nice.
Let me
Then
show
and you got
that's all
Judex's pistol.
resin?
you. Nice.
Yeah, this is resin ABS. So that's the thing. It's a resin ABS mixture, so it's more durable. It doesn't, it doesn't crack.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
break this. And that actually has a strapping. The back here, right, attaches
Oh, wow.
to with webbing like this.
Oh shit.
Oh, yeah.
There's
That's involved.
interior padding, so
So it's like
Yeah,
a
it
airsoft
stays on.
mask almost.
exactly
Man.
that's what I modeled it after.
That
So
is
we sculpted
quality.
that out. We sculpted it out, and then we used that to make the face and the
Wow.
gun
That's cool.
for, I don't know if you can see well,
1 second.
for the figure, and then we just did articulation on the figure today. These are like, you can pose this however you want, but this was just a still
There we
model.
go.
The figure
Yeah.
currently has elbow, wrist, knee, ankle, hip, neck articulation.
Damn.
Where are
So
you getting that
we
from?
just did that. We're making them.
Yeah,
that's what
that's-
Like
we
just printing them yourself?
Yeah, resin.
Yeah, we
printing.
sculpted it ourselves. We did the engineering ourselves. Me and my buddy do the engineering, and then we have Jupiter printers. So we run them off.
the
There's a
big
local
boys.
gaming shop that I know the guy who owns the gaming store, and so we have a pretty nice deal where we supply the resin and everything. We order it wholesale. And he just prints them off for me. It takes about 14 to 16 hours to print these because it's just it's the shell on one side, right?
Yeah.
And this is a solid piece. So the
Yeah.
Jupiters can handle up to 14 inches, giggity. And then you get this, and you get all the little internal
My girl.
components, and you can, assemble it. It also comes with, from, when we sold it on the campaign, a wooden box that has it's red felt lined with like a gold trim. It should actually be a photo of it on the campaign page. And there's
Yeah.
a bracket that lets you mount it to the wall. So you can like mount your gun and put it up there in the
Nice.
display box.
Is that a
We
ghost
also-
gun?
Technically, yes. Technically, it is because it's 3D printed. Technically, yeah. It's good.
That's funny.
We're in trouble now. Actually, if we did run it on a Kickstarter, we couldn't include the prop weapon, even though it's a cosplay weapon, because they
really?
don't let replica weapons to be one of the things that you have on your crowdfunding page. So we didn't run that. That's one of the reasons we were considering doing the figure on Kickstarter, but it's like, I don't know. At this point, we might just make the figure available for purchase on the website.
I see. Yeah, I mean, why not? There we go. Now
It's going to have a really cool cape. We got a pattern for the inside, like the gold pattern that you see in the background. That's the interior cape pattern for Judex.
Oh,
So like all the assets on the page are made with this like yellowish gold with the pattern on it. So we ordered that custom fabric. So the outside is like a black suede or black velvet. Yeah, it's black velvet, and the inside is like the silky texture, and then there are 10 metal wires through that. So on the figure, he's fully articulate, and then you can like pose the cape like you could the old Spawn figure. So like have it billowing in the wind, and you can have him like leaning with his gun or doing whatever you want.
That's cool.
That's very cool.
Man.
When it's
Yeah, that is
finished,
a
we'll
lot.
have photos of it up and stuff, and it'll be really cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Look at those.
Those are Luke's cards. Luke did a whole bunch of sketch cards for us.
Really
He's a cool dude.
Yeah.
I like Luke.
Death metal.
Yep. We took down the
fucking cool. Rattle 'em, boys. Rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat. Yeah.
We took down the replica pistol, the Widow, and the mask and the cape and everything because we make them to order. So I couldn't just like leave it in demand and then someone decides, hey, by the way, I want one of those pistols, because then I'd have to go and I'd have to print it and I'd have to paint it and I'd have to, make sure that it gets the proper packaging and ship it out. So I couldn't have that sitting in demand.
This is why it's important to fund when a campaign is live.
Yes.
Well, it would be nice if people could have found the campaign. You type in Judex and Indiegogo, it doesn't show up. You have to find it in Google. But that's only because we ran ads.
What's that about?
That's honestly a concern that we had. Since it's Nazi subject matter, we were concerned that maybe Indiegogo was censoring us because there are Nazis in.
I'm assuming it's not pro-Nazi, right?
Those are the bad guys.
Yeah,
context.
Those are
right?
Nazis. I thought they were just some happy German lads waving.
Right? They're World War II Germans. Yeah.
Well, that's the same thing that happened with the Satanic Panic. Was like, I remember like, you should turn to the side of Christ, and this is the devil's board game or whatever. And I'm like, you do realize that the players fight.
The demons are the bad guys.
Yeah.
They have angels, they have archons, they have justicars that are on the player's side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
you can be a paladin with a holy sword.
D&D is very platonic and not Christian, so I get it. But at the same time,
they did have.
It was a panic. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, but anyways, this looks great. Who did the art on this?
Fabrizio Ugolini. He's an Italian artist.
Great
we
name.
hired. So Odin and I do a lot of looking outside on ArtStation and on art portfolios and with art agents and stuff to try and get artists that people haven't really encountered in kind of like the indie and CG sphere. So Odin's really good at scouting talent. So we got Fabrizio that way. He had Von Randall for a while, but Von Randall got picked up by Image. We were working with what's his name? Fuck. He just did the cover for the Field. He's on the Daredevil run at Marvel right now.
Look at you!
Totally blanked. I totally blanked on his name. He was doing Aliens.
What you get for going to Marvel.
That's what I get for not being able to remember the names of the artists. Very apologies.
So why Judex? Why this one in particular?
So that was Odin's choice. He loves the Shadow, and Shadow's coming up, entering public domain, right? In what is it, 2027 or something like that? I'm not sure. It's in a couple of years. And Odin originally pitched a Shadow idea to Dynamite, and Dynamite loved the idea, but they don't own the rights to the Shadow. It's still owned by Condé Nast, and they're very protective of whoever does anything with the Shadow. So he was feeling his need to do an homage to the Shadow, and I guess he came across Judex somehow and decided he wanted to do a Judex story. So he sent me a story that he wrote, and he'd already done character sketches and he'd already done portraits and turnarounds. Well, he hadn't done turnarounds. He did a character sketch which I could show you guys. It's the original concept design for Judex. Cool. And he'd already found the artist that he wanted. He found Fabrizio. He's like, I really want to work with Fabrizio. I've got this story.
I mean, it's nice.
It's very nice. And so I was like, all right, let's make it a script. Let me come on and kind of, spearhead this thing. And then Odin and I went and we took his story, which was written as prose, and we broke it down into beats. And then we broke it down into scenes, chapters, whatever you want to call them, then beats on pages. And then we broke the pages down into layouts, and then we got Fabrizio on the layouts. And then we, worked with Fabrizio to try and get the pages to look the way we wanted them to look. And it slowly took shape, and then we added some additional stuff to the story that he wrote to kind of give a more well-rounded view of the setting for the first issue and give us a lead into the second issue. And it was just, it became a production. And I was like, well, why don't we do this, other stuff if we're going to do a campaign? Why don't we do 3D, 3D objects? Let's do the mask, the figure, the, pistol. Let's do all of that. Let's do the cape. Let's do the trading cards. And then I was like, what would be really cool? It would be really cool if we could work with Von Klaus, because he just did Terror in the Trenches, who is a hero, is kind of a pulp hero, is not quite. Once again, all this is very specific about when pulp is. Yeah. And he set his Black Terror in World War II also. So I hit up Vaughn. I was like, hey, what do you think about doing a 12-page Black Terror Judex crossover? He loved the idea. He wrote the script, we edited, we brought on Monica, and that's how that happened. But originally, like I said, Judex was a silent film character from like 1916 or 1970 or 17 or something. And he looked very different. He looked a lot more like the Green Hornet, but he didn't wear a mask at all. Or maybe he looked like the Shadow. I'm not sure, but he didn't have a scarf. It was just a dude in a black hat and a cape. It looked kind of weird. But the funny thing was that he had nothing to do with France. He had nothing to do with like the cultural defense of France, other than the fact that he had a Latin name and he was a French hero. And during World War II, when the Nazis occupied Paris, they couldn't have Judex stories, so the Judex stories were replaced by Shadow stories. So the Shadow was kind of masquerading as Judex. So when Odin did this kind of like re-envisioning of the character, it was conceived of as like a cultural defender of a society whose people were allowing their culture to be consumed or supplanted by an invading force that was now crushing the soul of art and, music and, the traditional culture in France, and kind of invading and imposing their will on what culture should be. And I was like, I sense some themes here.
Yeah. There's a little something going on.
Don't forget, Marxist revolutions never fail.
Oh no!
Gotcha. That's good to know, Chad.
We really leaned into that, and I was like, we need to pull that up a little bit more into the foreground, even though it's allegorical. It has absolutely no direct corollary, right? Like it's France and it's Nazis. It's not our society or anything. And that's kind of when I like subtext, when I like allegory, I like it done that way. So it's a little bit more adept.
Not like getting hit with the face with a cold fish. Yeah.
You don't want to sermon?
It's so sad these days. I think it's under pinups. There we go. It's so sad these days that a lot of the writing that we see, especially in comics, it's like the subtext is the text. You never,
that's all there is.
They're trying to talk about like, minorities and representation, but that's literally what the comic is.
That's all it is.
We can't have X-Men now. We have to have something that is literally that. And
it's the inclusive men. Or sorry, no, inclusive people.
You can't. There's nothing inferred, right? Like it's all implied. That you can't get anything out of it anymore. So this was the original concept for Judex. As you can see, the mask is a little bit different. The mask, the central piece is kind of the scales of justice. So there's that like central pillar, and then there are the arms above his eyebrows, and then what's under his eyes are kind of like the cups for the scales of justice.
Oh, I see.
And while I liked the idea, I thought that it was probably going to be a little bit hard to read, especially at a distance, and people weren't really going to understand like
the blue, him having blue eyes is very white supremacist, so I don't know if you consider that.
Oh my God.
Well, in the final versions, he has cat's eyes because we're trying to imply like the magical, mystical elements. So I replaced it with kind of the X. Well, we replaced it with like this X sort of symbol in the chain. So we kept the cups under the eyes because I thought that was neat. And so these are still like the chains of the scales of justice, but this is a much more identifiable look to the mask. Like you can draw an X on your face and suddenly, okay, I understand who you're trying to be.
It's got a little bit of a
chain motif comes into. What's that?
It's got a little bit of a Spawn vibe with the chains.
With the chains. Yeah, chains are awesome.
Yeah.
We get the chains of torment later and stuff like that. That's the other cool thing about Judex is because we did like a cultural French defender or whatever, we can pull in any sort of artifact or cultural relic or anything that we kind of want that's kind of floated around France. So I brought in the Apocalypse tapestries, which are these very famous, enormous tapestries of like scenes of the end of the world, right? And they exist. And so they're hanging in Judex's Bat Cave, which is called it's not actually the Bat Cave, but it's his version of the Bat Cave, right? Yeah. It's what Odin calls it, the hub of the mystic. It's the court of miracles below France, and he's got all of the stuff that he didn't want the Nazis to get, like Monuments Men style. He's got like
that's cool.
The music box. He's got the chandelier from the opera house. He's got D'Artagnan's sword. He's got all the stuff that he's hiding from the Nazis down there. But then there are some actual like magical objects. Like so I'm using these Apocalypse tapestries as kind of ways for him to divine what the problem is. Like the scenes that he sees in the Apocalypse tapestries as he like kind of meditates on them will show him the next thing that he needs to go and do. Exactly. Yeah. And then he has his crystal ball, which allows him to like envision and move from place to place in Paris. And the Cloak of Midnight allows him to become insubstantial and meld with shadow, and the mask, the visage of justice, allows him to peer into people's souls, a la the shadow, but also to like have them revisit their lives. There's like a hypnotic gaze, because originally Judex was like a mesmerist. He was like a hypnotist. That was like his big thing. He was like, ooh,
mesmerism, hypnotism,
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Right, Doctor Strange style.
Very nice.
But that was, that. So, it kind of took shape to be something fun. All the stories are hopefully going to be more serialized, where you can pick up any given issue and it is a self-contained story in its own that can be read in really any order, except for the fact that it will feed into an element of the main plot with the epilogue, because the epilogue tells you about who is hunting Judex and why they're there and what's going on, and that's the dude with the scars on his face, who you see, who is Ritter von Wotan, who is a Nazi occult hunter, which is one of like the Hitler's divisions. He had like an actual division.
I mean, he's got Odin in the name. Why not?
Right.
The dudes that were looking for the spear of Longinus and stuff.
Right, that was exactly what he's kind of trying to hunt down, the Spear of Longinus, and there are relics that he has sensed are in Paris, and of course that's going to lead him into colliding with Judex, because he's got a special eye, and he's got his own like mystical heritage that's shrouded in mystery that will slowly unfold.
The Thule Society or some shit, right?
Yeah, the Thule Society, exactly. Yeah. The Thule Society, and that's like how the meta plot happens. And we were talking, and Odin was like, "I want a scene," and I was like, "I know the scene you want. You want to see a sword fight on a zeppelin." And he was like, "Yes." So like that's, of course, we're going there. We're gonna have Judex using D'Artagnan's sword, and as you can see, Ritter has his German blade, and they're gonna have a sword fight on a zeppelin as it's burning and falling out of the Parisian sky. And there's just a lot of fun shit we can do with this.
I ran a tabletop one shot once, and it literally ended on top of a zeppelin with the players fighting a Tool agent who was using shadow magic on them. And then as the zeppelin was like crashing, they had to like get to like the glider that the Nazis had planted on top of it, and like
right on the bottom, and they had to right.
Escape
Wow, so it sounds like you guys know exactly what's going on. I love it.
Yeah.
So on top of that, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say the second issue is already in outlines. We haven't broken it down into scenes just yet, or into beats, because Odin's still kind of kicking around one of the ideas about how we want to provide a contextual frame narrative for it. Like if you saw Mavericks, all of the Sun Tzu quotes were used kind of like as a frame to provide narrative context for the story. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. It's a framing device. And what I wanted to do with the second one was use poetry, because I think I saw it done by Mark Silvestri in one of the issues of Cyberforce early on. Ripclaw was chasing Velocity, and they had a Native American poem that Ripclaw was like reciting in his head while he was watching Velocity running from the cybernary forces, and it was all about this deer running lost and alone in the woods, and like he starts it and he kind of like uses it moving through the story, and then he ends the poem at the end, and and it was just a perfect, like book ending to the story. And I was like, that's really cool. And I'm a 13-year-old kid, and I'm like, one day I'm going to write a story just like that.
Dude,
So
and then look at now here we are.
So now we're trying to like refine the right pieces of French literature or poetry or something like that to try we've narrowed it down to like the there are 2 different poems. One's about Notre Dame and one's about like some river boat or something on the Seine. And we're just kind of looking at how to break the stanzas down and use them as contextual pivot points in the story. Like you start it off, then when you have the first turn into the second act, you drop another one, then you drop one right before the climax. Cool. And so that's how we're structuring that right now.
Well, that all sounds badass. Yeah, for sure. So not only do you have this super cool I guess noir, right? Pulp,
it's
black and
like
white
noir. Yep.
Oh, it's so cool. It looks gorgeous. The art,
Thank you.
Fabrizio, he looks great. You and Odin, you guys both have successful backgrounds in writing and production and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm sure this is going to be, it's going to be great. But on top of all that stuff, you also have your amazing channel, Global Frequency Studios.
It's all right. We're not 1,000 yet, guys. We need to get more subscribers.
when people go on your show, or I should say after people have been on your show, I've seen the post-traumatic stress in their eyes. So I just want to say that you're probably the most like thorough interviewer that's in indie right now. So
I'm getting a reputation for being a killjoy. I actually got something sent to me recently. Let me see if I can pop it open and share it with you.
Oh no!
Just because it was the
rage.
It's appropriate for the way that things are going recently, at least on my show with the guests that I have on and like the rants that I go on and everything.
Rants are good. Rants get views.
I guess they do. I'm not trying to be mean to my guests. I'm just trying to be like honest and practical at this point, because so many of the people that we're seeing are struggling to get their art and their campaigns and all this other stuff done. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that people aren't familiar with kind of the business side of things, or they don't have a plan, or they haven't, figured out their market or anything like that. And, it's important that you do that in crowdfunding if you want to get funded. So here, this is the most recent dig at Neff.
Oh no!
Somebody took a dig at you? I gotta say, yeah.
So you have the human sunbeam. You have the human sunbeam, and I'm the human rain cloud.
Raiden wins.
People are like looking for Ethan's support, and they're like, I'm the opposite. I'm a horrible person.
No, your crowdfunding is garbage.
No, but that's the thing is, like, I've watched your show, and it's never like, it's constructive. It's not like you're like you're dumb, go away, doing something else with your life. Yeah, more of.
We might get there. You never know. I might finally get to the point where I'm like, "No, you're dumb. Go away." I'm on my villain arc, guys. I'm slowly circling the drain here. One bad day, and I'm going to become a super villain. I swear.
Yeah, watching the making of a new villain. I love it.
But it's good advice. Like I haven't seen anything yet where you're like steering somebody and being like, "Dude, like this is hopeless." Just
Yeah, you haven't been wrong. First of all, so from what I've watched,
I'm never wrong. Even when I'm mistaken for lack of information because I don't have all the facts, even then I'm not wrong because I realize that I'm mistaken, and then I'm not wrong. You see how that works?
You know what?
He's never wrong except doing trivia.
Let's get to the bottom of this. Damn. Let's get to the bottom of this. Let's ask your wife how wrong you are. So how about
that's she'll give you the same spiel that I just gave you.
Oh no!
Go, he's never wrong. He's just mistaken. Often.
Often. Yeah, it's too bad we didn't have Frequency Girl on, but I understand somebody's got to take care of the castle while you're doing your
someone's got to keep the wolves at bay.
Yeah,
but
tell her,
the last thing is like even if I'm rough on my show, I'll try and get together with the person behind the scenes and be like, all right, so, you know, this is what I observed. These are kind of my suggestions. And I think this whole thing started when I had Dojo on my show and I was kind of hard on him with his last campaign, with the Shifter campaign that he's doing right now, because one of the things is like, you know, he doesn't really have a plan for the art or the book beyond asking people to crowdfund it with him. Like he doesn't have a budget or anything up front. And I was kind of incensed by that, because it's like, how can we create our products, guys, for a world out there when we're asking them to come to us and fund that project first before we can offer it to the world, when they don't know who we are and it's a recession and nobody's got $5 for gas, right? And then I was like, look, I was like, so clearly you're just kind of marketing to Comicsgate or Indie Comics or Fund My Comics or wherever, and you're hoping to go on YouTube shows and get enough of that community to back you, but everybody's suffering for money now. You're going to have to go outside of that. So I was like, why don't you go to book fairs, right? This is a middle reader book that you're basing your graphic novel off of. So go to the library, put out flyers for this book for pre-orders, tell the librarian about it. Maybe they can pre-order it, offer a retailer tier, offer, like, there are other ways, other things we can do to go about trying really hard to get our projects out into the world, rather than just kind of relying on the scene to back us up. And that's what I'm saying, is like, the scene is tired, guys. The scene is exhausted. We're all tired and exhausted.
It's like, it's that whole, you know, where it's like the shriveled cow is like, I'm coming up to milk you.
Yeah, you're out of milk, man. It's like you're pulling on the udders and dust is coming out. Yeah,
it's like, quit. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, not another second chance poster campaign. Oh God, I don't have anything for your like reprint campaign. No, you can't ask me for $60 covers again, or $25 for 48 pages. That model's dying. You know, this is why I'm the fucking human rain cloud, because I'm calling it what it is, and being like, look, we got to change, we got to adapt, and a lot of people don't want to hear that. That's why we offered Judex on the campaign, the 30-page comic, for $10 including shipping. So it's like a $5 comic, $5 shipping. So we're selling our comic book at 30 pages for $5, guys. Like, get the price down, you know, make it more accessible for people. Continental, you know, US shipping for $5. That's really good. You have to go media mail for that, which is why it didn't include any of the extras. But the extras were really cool, because we had the glow in the dark Rich Ayala print. We had the coins. I don't know if I showed you the coin, but that comes on the main book tier. That's you know, it's a collectible coin that we made, once again, just because we make stuff. Here you go. This is Lemarion, right? This is the coin of justice. It's what Judex uses. Remember I said he was like a mesmerist, right? Like he was a hypnotist. So the whole like follow the coin, use the, you know, that he does on the campaign page, where he like twirls the coin for the Nazis and kind of hypnotizes them. They're also, do you remember the Shadow? The Shadow had like the ruby ring, which is what he gave his agents. Right. So this is the coin of justice, and it looks like a franc on one side, so it's unassuming, but on the other side it's got the scales of justice, which is not what's on the normal franc. So Judex has these special francs for people, and they can identify themselves as his agents using this franc. So like, if you got the $20 tier, which was the book, the glow in the dark print, and this, you kind of joined the fraternity, right? You were claiming liberty. And then we gave the top tier. We gave the top tier, which was all of our covers, our main cover, our virgin holofoil cover, and our glow in the dark embossed spot gloss variant from that one was from Russ Leach, and the other one was from this guy who did the art on Cobalt and Water Wars, Erwin Arosa. So it was like a beautiful, it was the only color cover that we had. So it was both of those variants, plus Vaughn's 12-pager, plus Monica's print that she did. And all the other stuff that was on the Liberty tier, including the glow in the dark and the coin, and the metal. It was a metal print that Monica did, and all of that was like $50. So we tried to get like a higher level tier for people, $50, but give them way more than you would expect, and then do like a really low cost tier, which still allowed people to get the book, and then of course have like higher tiers, which have shit like, the Mask and Pistol and the stuff that's kind of out there for the serious collector. It's a different philosophy coming at crowdfunding rather than just doing the same shit over and over again. I mean, Chris killed it with Infinidale, with the box. The packaging's immaculate. Like, the book was great. All the bonuses, the little lore book, the stickers and everything, all of that, it's a different approach to what we're doing or what we're seeing in crowdfunding. It's guys like Chris. I mean, I think I have it right. Oh. I have it right here. I have this sucker right here.
Look at there.
Right? It's a great looking box. Look at how professional the graphic is on the back. I love that.
Yes. It reminds me of like an old PC.
It had like the little card game in it, right? It also had like the stickers, and it had the other card game.
Look at that.
It had like the little extra and look at his shrink wrapping. Because of Chris, I had to get a heat gun and shrink wrap. And to this day, I will blame Chris Fisk for upping the game in packaging and production. But that's the cool thing about indie, when you have people like Chris and Brian Vidvitas and a lot of other people who I can't remember at this time of night because I've been writing all day, who are out there who are interested in upping the game and doing something to advance the crowdfunding experience for the backers. And originally when I got involved, in Comicsgate, it was because it was a consumer movement, right? It was about the backer. It was about what can we give the backer the best bang for the buck? What is it they want? They're going to tell us what they want. When we did Mavericks the first time, we literally went on a show called The Chat with Leroy and Danger Vanessa and Lord Ravener and Amanda B. And we were like, all right, so these are our plans. And we got a little bit of criticism, a little bit of pushback about, what the fans wanted. They wanted more books. So I went and I did a Ashcan anthology. I went and I got Joe Catapano to do a 10-page story for us. I got Kimasabe to write something, and then I broke that down and thumbnailed it with Dillard. And then I got Travis Gibb to do a 4-page backup, and we had like a supplemental add-on for everybody because they were like, we don't want another variant cover, we want more books. I was like, all right, I'll scramble at the last 2 weeks before the campaign launches and I'll make you another book. But it sold really well because that's what people wanted. So we just listen to the backers and imagine what it is they would want, what they would think is cool. And then you give them that and give it to them for a really good price and you're going to be successful. Like that's the philosophy. It's not do what you want to do and price it the way you want to price it. Guys like Chris, they definitely make the difference in the crowdfunding scene by going, I'm going to do something really cool and I'm going to provide it in a thoughtful way to the backers.
All right, wait a minute. First of all, just stop with inflating Chris's ego, okay?
All right, I will. But I cite Chris quite often, not on this show. I cite him as an example quite often on other shows or just two people in general as someone I think who did it right. Cool. Now I'll stop.
I mean, I just
want to add.
Are you done, Chris? You feel okay? No.
There's something I'd like to add. So I don't know if you guys know this, but if you backed the full Mavericks, it took me days to unpack. It was like Christmas morning. This thing was 10 pounds. Yeah, I had to put it on the scale because I was like, wow, I'm feeling the burn when I'm getting pumped.
Chris's box, right?
Yeah.
My box. Chris's box fits inside my box.
Mine's a Trojan, his is a Magnum.
That's good.
Nice box. Yeah. Well, so somebody who is also known for having a big box, Victor. We got to segue a little bit. We got Victor's Modern Necessities, Modern Setting Rules for OSE. So tell us a little bit about this. What is this about?
Okay, so Old School Essentials is it's basically a clone of 1980s Basic Expert Dungeons and Dragons. It's like one of the premier OSR clones that are out there right now. Meanwhile, I'm big into I love tabletop games with firearms. I love mixing elves and orcs with modern stuff. I used to be a big I'm a big Shadowrun fan. I used to play a lot of D20 Modern and stuff. So I've always wanted to do my own take on that kind of stuff. So my first project was doing that for 5th edition, which I successfully kickstarted. That was a Modern Adventurer's Guide to Guns and Gear. And then I decided to try the same thing for Old School Essentials for the OSR. Technically, I already wrote a version. It's already for sale. But I'll be honest, I wrote that in 3 weeks while I was like hopped up on energy drinks. So there's some stuff that I wanted to improve, some stuff that I wanted to fix that I feel I messed up. So I'm basically doing this as like a massively updated version, updated rules, way more content. So far, I've like already added like 30 pages up onto like the original like 96.
Gosh.
So it's basically rules to add like modern stuff like firearms, modern teamed classes, like special forces soldiers, detectives, monster hunters, like stuff like that to Old School Essentials. I kind of lost my train of thought there, but just basically stuff like this. Just let you kind of do like urban fantasy stuff, like that movie Bright with Bruce Willis. Not Bruce Willis. Will Smith. Sorry, Will Smith.
Will Smith. Yeah.
Stuff like that. So I'm planning to do a Kickstarter for this in early 2024. There's also stretch goals. There's 3 stretch goals. One is for a add-on that adds like Old West / Weird West rules. So there's going to be like, a gunslinger.
Like Weird West.
So, the Old West mixed with fantasy. So you can be like an orc gunslinger with like a magic peacemaker, basically. Stuff like that. Fighting like zombies.
That sounds pretty cool, man. I could kind of get behind that.
Yeah, you get behind the peacemaker.
Orcs have brutal critical, right? Like, that's a thing.
That one's going to be called Single Action, actually. So it's just like an add-on that you use with the core modern necessities rules, but it lets you play in that Old West, Weird West setting. The second add-on is it's called Cutting Edge. It basically adds rules to do like cyberpunk and science fiction stuff. So I actually got the cover image in earlier. I can really quickly share that if you want, because I really thought it was awesome. 1 second.
Sure.
Present, share screen.
So is it just you doing this, or do you have a team?
The writing is just me. The art, I don't do art, so.
Let me guess. There's no editor.
I am the editor. I am the editor, much to
I'm sorry. I need to team up with Black Chad. I need to bring him on my show. He needs to be a soundboard for me when I'm interviewing guests. I need to have him make a guest appearance.
I'm sure he agrees. Anyways, what is this we're looking at?
So this is the cover image for that Cutting Edge supplement that came in today. So it's like an Elvish street samurai.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Street samurai.
Yeah, so basically, like I said, like that's literally just so you can do Shadowrun with the serial numbers filed off, stuff like that. And then the third, and then the third add-on is going to be like a full-on adventure module. That's basically it's going to be in my own kind of like a magical post-apocalypse setting. It's kind of like what if magic suddenly became a thing during World War III. And like all of a sudden, like orcs, elves, all that stuff shows up. Like all of a sudden, like maybe like these ancient ruins just appear in the middle of like a big modern city, with all its destructive effects. Stuff like that.
All these fantasy creatures.
Yeah.
So do you have like different racial things going on, or do you just kind of pull from just what's already there in OSE?
I kind of pull from what's already there. So there's dwarves, elves, orcs, halflings, stuff like that.
Dungeons and Dragons has always been racist, you bigot.
Damn it!
I don't disagree, but no, actually I do vehemently disagree.
It's always been racist. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. But I kind of just stick to the original. Yeah. I kind of stick to the original OSE conventions for the most part, but it's just like I added like modern firearms, modern teamed classes, modern equipment, vehicle rules, a multitude of like optional rules to like change the game to your flavor. So
I saw you post something on Twitter and you mentioned was it like the Land Warrior system? Are you going to do something with that or? No,
I'm kind of pondering it. I have so many projects.
It's like, how do you incorporate that into the game?
That would probably have to be a setting. That would be like kind of like
see.
a what if type setting, kind of like that
Mhm.
cassette futurism thing, where it's like what if it's the 80s, but there's like high
All the
technology.
text from the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah. So that you would kind of have to do that, but like kind of do like 80s, 90s, kind of like a military type game where everyone's just like
God
running around
damn.
with the Land Warrior system and like a G11 and stuff like that,
Well,
like
you've
fighting like Cold War 2020.
you're like, what did you get on drive-through now? What kind of seller are you? Are you silver seller or? what is it
Yeah,
you
I'm
have?
like I'm a twice silver seller on 2 of my books. My 5e book is a silver seller, and my old school essentials book is a silver seller.
Nice.
Look at
That's
you.
awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah.
How do you like
for-
dealing with drive-through?
I personally don't have any complaints. People say that they're woke, which what big corporation isn't these days? Let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean, they're all
But
getting that BlackRock money, you know?
yeah, they've always been helpful. If you, as a publisher, email them with an issue, I've gotten answers back within like 15 minutes before.
Oh, nice.
Like so
That's real good.
I also don't really do anything controversial. I don't do anything political in my books. I don't do like anything weird. It's literally just like here's rules to put firearms, and you can be an elf in a firearm.
Yeah.
Like stuff like
Well,
that. So
I mean, depending on who you ask,
Yeah.
everything is
Political.
yeah. When I was doing the
Holding
promotion,
guns. Oh my god, that's so political. I was like, no,
well, when I was doing
relax.
promotion for my 5e modern book, I was like running Facebook ads. I did have people that were like, it's like,
I'm
oh,
sorry.
keep your guns out of my fantasy. And then one guy was like, oh, you Americans are all obsessed with guns. And I'm like, I'm literally called the Scrying Dutchman. What the fuck are you talking about? Like,
that's like calling married people incels. It's like,
Yeah, like,
you want to tell my
but,
kids that? Like,
I never responded to those. I just deleted the comments and then blocked them because
Yeah.
screw those people. But
I mean, if they're dumb, why engage, right?
yeah,
yeah.
So
but it's
what,
definitely a little bit of a. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, so when are you going to be launching this? In February then? Early next
Yeah,
year?
probably. I want to have enough time to kind of like build up the hype, to get some of the work done. I'm getting like a bunch of art in right now, all that stuff. So, there's also
Are
in
you
the
still
tabletop.
doing stock art, or are you going to get?
No, this is all bought. Like the one I showed you, that's like stuff that I personally commissioned from an artist. That's not stock art. No, they wish
Very
that was
cool.
stock art. No, so it's
Yeah, you
I never I didn't use stock art in any of my actual books that I actually like properly published. I'm doing stock art for like random little supplements that I'm just like writing in like 3 days, and I'm putting like on Drive to RPG for like $2.99, whatever.
Yeah.
So, but for like the actual like Kickstarter stuff and the actual like properly published stuff, like no, I commissioned art. I don't do AI unlike some people in the tabletop community, but
yeah.
So yeah,
watch out. Somebody's gonna like start shooting at us if we start talking about AI. So
yeah,
just slow
but no,
down
that's
with
what
AI talk.
That's what the Kickstarters are for. It's basically just to afford the art. Like I don't have any overhead otherwise. It's just me sitting here like writing on like
Typing
a 50
away.
euro. Yeah, it's like on a 50 euro like editing program. Like it's just me writing. So
Wait a minute,
yeah,
don't you refurbish old antique typewriters, don't you?
I used to, yeah, but
that
I had to stop with that because of new European Union's tax stuff that they were doing.
Oh,
but,
no.
yeah, but yeah, that used to be a good breadwinner. Sad days,
Yikes.
but whatever.
So are they taxing you to breathe yet? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Exhale tax.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll
Greta
get there in the next few
knocking
years.
on your door. It's like, how dare you breathe?
The exhalation is a carbon footprint.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get there at some point. But no, like I said, my Kickstarters are purely for the most part to like afford the art, and anything that I make over my goal, that's just like a bonus. So so that also kind of like allows me to keep the cost kind of down. Like just
so you're just doing it for the love of the game, huh?
Yeah. I'm asking like 3K to just to get this book out. To get the main book out, and then each stretch goal is like another 1,000. I just wanted to keep it like simple for myself, and then I figured 6,000 total. That will allow me to get like a bunch of cool art for the stuff. It's not like I have to put art on every page either, so that helps.
No.
So
yeah, just a good layout, and then a good few establishing art pieces, and then a couple of clips here and there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I
how
also
many
do the
pages is it?
Let me see. Right now, and I'm still writing. Let me check. the original was like 96, and like I said, I wrote that in like 3 weeks, and I did all the layout and everything myself.
That's crazy.
Right
so in
now,
case nobody knows, even Victor, I do want to have Victor help me with my source book for Immortal Rising. So
yeah, definitely. That'd be cool.
I'm looking forward to when I finally get it ready to actually come to you and say, hey, let's work on this. What can I do? Yeah, that would be.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait, because you are a fucking, you mass produce shit. Oh yeah, you just like sit there and put stuff out all the time. You're like pumping stuff out. It's crazy.
It's on his business
It's the
card.
energy drinks.
Yeah. Monster.
I'm all
makes you mass
hopped up
produce
with Mountain
shit.
Dew.
Well, I have periods
writes
where
like-
I work. Okay, sweet.
I said he writes like a spider monkey all hopped up.
Yeah.
in that video.
Well, I look like one too. But
It was the worst of times.
no, I go through whole periods for like months where I work pretty slow. Like I might like do like oh, I have to do like a stat block for something. I'll just do a little stat block, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done for today. But then I also have periods where, like I said, within 3 weeks, I just have like 100-page book that's ready to publish with layout and everything. So
Put it out. Sure.
yeah. But right now,
So-
like I said, the original was 96. Right now, the updated version is up to 126. I'm shooting for about 150. So
Nice. Yeah, that's a nice thick book. And they also do print on demand through drive-through, don't they?
yeah, which really helps a lot.
That's kind of a
Yeah.
problem for the tabletop guys. Like, for instance, like Fund My Comic. I don't think any tabletop guys are going there because it's not printed on demand. So,
Yeah.
like, we could
Yeah.
want it, but it's not going to be here anytime soon. Whereas,
Well,
like, drive-through, and even Big Geek, right? Even Big Geek Emporium, they do print on demand.
Yeah, they go to Lulu.
Okay.
Lulu, which they also do print on demand. They actually are they have better quality than Drive-Thru RPG, but they're not specifically oriented towards tabletop RPGs. So
Yeah.
Yeah, they're also called Lulu, which doesn't quite carry
Yeah.
the same
Yeah.
connotation as drive-through
It's not as cool.
RPG.
yeah,
Well, it's like Zoop, the comic, the crowdfunding Zoop thing. It's like
Yeah.
that doesn't tell me what your product is. Like,
Right.
Or wish.com. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like you think,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get this book printed, this RPG book printed. Yeah, let's go to Lulu or Alibaba or like any of
Yeah.
these sites
Oh,
that just
gosh.
don't sound very
Yeah.
reputable.
No. So one thing that is reputable is Victor's YouTube channel. You have a great YouTube channel as well, and I kind of wanted to highlight it because your what is it? Your one shots. That is a great show with
yeah. Thanks.
Greg, you, and Crossface. Just
Yeah,
kind of sitting around bullshitting about tabletop games, and you'll get like, what is it, like 70 views or whatever. Just looking here, I mean, and it's just like 3 dudes sitting around talking about your games. It's really
Yeah.
cool, and it's always just like a really relaxing kind of show.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. I want to be able to get on it more often, just to
Oh, yeah,
hang out with
definitely.
you guys. So yeah, if you guys are looking for a good tabletop channel, go check out Victor Gorchev.
yeah. As you can see, I'm like
one-shots.
40. I'm 40 subscribers from 1,000, which when I can finally be
So
monetized.
close.
So yeah.
Yeah,
I was 39 earlier, but then somebody unfollowed. I'm like, God damn it.
you bastards. Yeah.
Yeah.
A pox on your house. Well, you also do shows with Basic Expert.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm his co-host on Natural Ones on Monday. He just hit 4,000 subscribers. So
oh,
Nice.
God.
yeah,
Good for him,
Yeah,
man.
that's real
Yeah.
good.
I have no
Yeah,
idea
we-
why people want me on their shows and have me as co-host because I'm just like a stumbling, mumbling Dutch fool. So I don't know, but I don't know. People seem to like me, so I'll take it. I mean,
Yeah, you're our lovable, stumbling, drunk Dutch.
Yeah.
folk.
yeah.
Fine. So
Don't forget
all right,
armed.
yes.
He's an armed
Yeah,
Dutchman.
and
too.
he's-
Yeah. Which
What
over
you
here
say?
means something.
So I guess let's wrap it up. Do you guys have any last minute shout outs or anything that you'd like to hit before we end her?
No, I'm sure I had.
This
something
is where you
earlier,
say shout out to my mom or whatever you like. Yeah. Shout out to Frequency Girl. Sorry you couldn't be here.
Yeah.
Maybe next
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, you know,
yeah, look for
she's
modern
upstairs
necessities.
cooking curry.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
Hell yeah. Get him in the kitchen. No, sorry.
Yeah.
Everybody's like,
Telling
mm,
me-
yes.
There's a knock at the door.
So, all right, guys. I guess until next time, enough talk.